Oh, shiny, shiny reels. Hi, I'm going to dive straight into how to make reels. On the iPad here, it's just because it's a bigger screen. So you go to the place where you would normally go to make a story on Instagram. So click the icon on the phone, and then you're in either at the bottom you've got live story reels. So you just swipe to the reels section, and now you're in reels. Now, one of the things to do to make reels believable is understand that they are on a loop. So they play continuously over and over again, meaning that the start of your reel also has to be pretty congruent with the last part of your reel. So the loop doesn't jump in a place at the end. So knowing that when you start will help you. Either you can start with a completely blank slate or start with something that you know is automatically going to be repeated at the end in a nice way. Perhaps starting with a blank screen will help you so that you know if you end with a blank screen, that's a seamless joint. I'm not going to do that here, but I am going to show you a way of editing that is quite trendy. You can either edit with a click or a press or something that indicates the next jump cut, as they called, which is basically one image seamlessly tied into the next. So I'm going to work through that with you. Working through the features on Reels, the first one is a time, and you can click that and it will either be 15 seconds or 30 seconds. I'm going to leave this one at 15. The next icon down is your music, and you can select the music either at the beginning when you start making your reel, or you can do it at the end. Now, the advantage of doing it at the beginning is that every time you press your record button, the music that you've selected will start playing, so that you know how far through that music you are as you start recording, so you know when your edit point comes up you can stop. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to do it at the end, and I'll come back to that and show you how to select music. The next button down is making it either slowing it down or fast forwarding. If you are recording something and you want it to be sped up, you can click the 3 times, or if you want to slow it down, you can click the 0.3 times. I'm going to want this to go very quickly, so I'm going to want super small clips. I'm going to click 3 times, and then every time I click the record button, it will fast forward everything and shrink it down for me in each clip. So that's where I'm choosing that one today. The next icon down is effects, and effects, then you can scroll through them. They're essentially filters, the same way that you see. Oh, I pressed record accidentally, and I'm going to show you, because I just did that, I'll show you how to delete it. If you do something like this, you can click the back button there and then just delete and discard the clip. Handy for when you accidentally do things like that. Don't forget, if you are finding this video useful, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It helps the channel. Please just do it. Thanks. And the effects button basically allows you to select filters for the videos of your face or anything that's in your screen. And at the bottom of your screen, you can scroll through and you can go to the search function at the very end. There's a search function, and you can browse effects, allowing you to come to your effect gallery and retro camera, and it will search for things there, and you can see lots of people have made various things. Let's just select that one. And straight away it shows you a little bit of footage with that filter over it. So if you like that filter, you can select it, and I'll say try it, and then it'll load it, and you can see what it looks like and what it does for you in the image, which is rather nice. If you like it, you can save it, you can click on it, and you can get a save effect. I'm going to save that. There are lots of other quirky things out there. This one's quite cool, the ripple. That's quite fun. There are, of course, lots of things out there that change the look of your skin, the lighting, and add lots of makeup. But there are also some really cool, like, framing, so you can have yourself in kind of like a different quirky camera mode, which I quite like the effects of. There is also a really interesting green screen filter, but at this point in time it's rather buggy, so you can try it and see if it works for you, but it's a bit 50-50 as to whether or not it works. So I certainly advise trying the apps, filters, and just having a little bit of fun with them. And the next one down is a timer, which is awfully handy if you are recording yourself and you don't have somebody else recording you. There's a countdown, and then you can see how much time has gone so that you know where you are in recording. I don't need the timer for this because I've already got this set up. So let's get to recording. So the first thing you do to record is press the button, and I'm going to press record. And that mini piece then is the first segment of my reel. And I can go back here the same way we just did to delete it. Click the button, but here I can also trim it. And I'm going to trim my clip so that it trims with my finger coming in and having just pressed. So there, I think, is good. And then I'm going to press trim at the top, and then my clip is done. I'm just going to trim again because I didn't like that. Okay, trim, done. And then once I'm happy with it, I'll click done, and then that is the first clip. Now, the thing with Instagram Reels is that at this current time, the minute I start recording the next one, I cannot then go back and edit the first clip. So be very sure that you've trimmed the pieces as you go rather than wait to the end, because that won't work. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this and I'm going to put in another pedal. But the minute I've taken it out, I will need to align the image with the pedal coming in, and it has a great feature in here with the align button. The minute I press it, it brings up a lowered image opacity of the previous video, well, the last piece of the video. This align feature is super useful and can be used for any clever editing points, such as clapping in the next video, clicking your fingers and the next video appearing, or if you're using stop motion, and we've used it multiple times in other videos, the stop motion, so that you can see where the pieces on the board were before the next one comes in. So there's a great tool there to utilize in many, many ways. And here I can just line up exactly with that pedal. I can even put my finger in. Okay, I'm going to press the finger, and then I'm going to record my next bit. So I'm good to do that. I'm going to press the record button. And then that's the second piece recorded. And in order to go back and trim again, I can click back button, trim, and I'm going to trim it just where my finger gets pressed. See that? That's where I'm going to trim it. Okay, to trim, and that piece is then done. So I'm going to repeat the whole process. Take the pedal out, align, put the next pedal in. There we go, and I'm going to put my finger in. So I'm not happy with that last clip. I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to click the back button, the same as I did before, and I'm going to delete it, discard, and I'm going to do it again. Done. And again, just with the align button, just to make sure that everything is aligned. Put my finger in. Okay, if I now like the full array of the video, I'm going to review it and see if I like it, and I can do that by pressing the forward button here, and it shows me everything. So it sees my finger come in, pressing up, next one, changing the level, coming back in, pressing the button, next, okay, and then it switches to the next. So it's on the loop is then played. It's at this point that you can swipe left and right to access the normal filters that you have in Instagram, so that you can apply the filter to the full works. Now, I suggest that you leave this until this time. You can do it clip by clip, but the problem with that is that some of the clips may not match later on. So do it at the very end as like your color processing. If you're going to use a filter, of course, find the one that you want. I quite like the grungy one actually for this. I'm gonna go Los Angeles is a very good one. That's very grungy and very crisp. So I'm gonna select that one. If I like this now, I'm now gonna click the right. So you can also have text on the reel itself, and this is a feature that people are often using in order to bump up the views of their reels. And the way that it's used mostly is to add in text at the last 3 seconds of your reel. And the reason for this is that you want people to look at again. You want people to play again, or to let the loop of the reel go again. And if you've got writing or information at the very end of your reel, chances are that they're going to watch it again just to capture that piece of information. It's very clickbait, but it works. So that's an option for you if you're looking to increase the views on your videos. I'll show you how to do it here. Click the text, and we can click here, like, I will tell you about safe areas in a moment, but bearing in mind that if this appears in your story feed, you will not see the full screen, you will only see a square. So there is certain parts of the screen that won't show. So if you're going to write text at the top or the bottom of the screen in full screen mode, chances are in your feed it's not going to show up. So be aware of that if you're going to put text over anything that you create in Reels. In Reels, it will show everything, but if you're showing it in your feed, it's probably not going to. So one just to bear in mind. So here you've noticed I've typed them all out, they're all there. Now I only want them to come in the video at the very end. So in order to do that, you press the text itself, you hold it and it comes up, and then you pull the bar where you'd like to place it. And I'd like to place it in the last section of the video, and that is only for that particular piece of text. So the next piece of text that I want to pin is my flashback mini, and I can click the piece of text I want, and I'm also going to position it at the very end. So that's where I'd like it to show in. And you can see that it's placed the rest, and it shows you that it won't show up until the very end part that you've just selected. I'm going to repeat that for the last piece of text. Click on Hall of Fame 2 Mini and drag where I would like it to appear, which again is at the very end. Let me just play all of that because I'd like them to appear in sequence, so one comes after the other. I just need to make sure that that's going to happen. So Polytune Flashback Mini Hall of Fame. Yep, they come in really, really quickly, meaning that people will have to rewatch the video to catch it, which is great. I'm happy with that. I'm going to click the forward button. Okay, and now I can come to the cover, and to change the cover, I can click it and I can select in the video all of it. So I can select perhaps where they all come in, or I can have a clip where they're all, none of them are there. Now it is at this stage in the process, and because Instagram at this point, as you can see, is still a little bit buggy, the thing I like to do is click the download button. Now, what that means is it will save all of the video that I have just made from Instagram. So if my phone is dying, if I haven't got the battery, or you are running out of internet, there is a way of you saving your video at this point in time, and that is a download button here, and you can save it, but it will give you this warning: save without audio. And the reason for that is that there is copyright infringements on the music that Instagram have allowed you to select within their own app. So bear in mind, you will only be able to save the video without the audio file. I'm still going to save it because I want to make sure that it's all there. And once you've saved it, if something were to happen to the app, I could reload the whole thing as a video and then just put the music on top, and that would be perfectly fine. Remember that although we put 15 seconds on, you don't have to use all of the 15 seconds. So don't worry if you've got time to spare on it. You don't need to fill every single second of it. I'm now going to go back in and select the music. And in the music selection, you can play to preview, or you can just hit the song. And then it comes up with the part that you want. The slider at the bottom will allow you to select the part you want. And if the song actually has lyrics, some of the lyrics might show up on the screen. Some do, some don't. It depends the song and the program that it's in. So I'm just going to leave it at the beginning. I'm going to listen to it now, but I'm sorry you won't be able to because of copyright for YouTube. I'm happy with the way this looks right now, so I'm going to click the forward button, and here it allows me some options. So I'm going to be able to choose the cover image here, so I can choose along here whichever ones I want, and I'm just going to choose perhaps like a flashback. That's good cover for me because of the blue and the yellow. It's striking, its contrast. And I can write a caption, and here is where I can tag people and use hashtags. And I suggest that you do because it raises the profile of your reel. At the moment, Instagram are pushing reels. So when you search for the hashtags, the reels come up at the beginning of the search options. So it's worth bearing in mind that it is a good driver for traffic for your Instagram. So I'm just going to write a caption. Something to note at this point is that you can share this reel directly to your story, and you can do so by clicking on stories or swiping and just sharing it here. And you can also share it directly to the people in your feed. Now the thing is the minute you share it to the stories, that's the end of the story. There is nothing more you can do with the reel. And the options now of exporting are to Reels and also to your feed. Now, as photographers, some of you have amazing grids that are beautifully curated, and putting a reel into the grid isn't ideal for you. Now, that's okay. You can remove it from your grid later, but I suggest putting it to your grid because it does increase the eyes on the post. So perhaps for the first 24, 48 hours, it's worth sharing it to your feed and then removing it from the feed after you've done that. I'll show you how to do that. So you just also share to feed, click open, and then you click share. And once it's done, it posts it. Now, it will post it to two areas on your Instagram. It will share it to your feed and also to your Instagram Reels. And this is where the part where I was talking about the space around the image being super important, because in your feed, the text won't show up. Your feed only shows the square, whereas the reel shows the full screen image from top to bottom. So again, something worth noting: if it's going to be showing up in your feed, it will just show up like this. It's very, very small. because the top and the bottom are cut out. In the feed, in the reels, you'll see the full thing. Of course, we want to see how you're using Reels, and I'd love to see your inventions of your edit points and how you're getting on. So tag us in your Reels at McGunn Media and follow us on Instagram, and we'll share your Reels on our stories.